Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. October 9th, 2017.
2:05 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, deal or no deal? This is now the question I'm asking every single one of you. So, yesterday, President Trump, his administration, finally unveiled what they are now willing to envision in a comprehensive package regarding immigration reform. And so on the table, here is now the deal. In exchange for granting amnesty to the beneficiaries of DACA, Trump is essentially saying, we'll give you, the Democrats and the establishment Republicans, what you want. It's about the children. They will get amnesty. However, in exchange, here is now what we want. It's a package deal. Take it or leave it. It is a 70-point plan that focuses on three fundamental areas: border security, interior enforcement, and changing the legal immigration system. So, in essence, here is now what Trump is demanding and saying these are going to be his preconditions to any amnesty for DACA. 1, the wall must be built, period, full stop. Secondly, there must be a full and complete crackdown on sanctuary cities. Furthermore, they want E-Verify to become mandatory. So every employer, every business, every firm must have the system in place whereby if somebody applies for a job, they can immediately check and see if that person is legally able to work in the United States. Is the person legal or illegal? But there's more. Not only do they want to crack down on sanctuary cities, not only do they want to build a wall, not only do they want to mandate the full implementation of E-Verify, they want to raise the money to deploy tens of thousands of more Border Patrol agents, not just along the border, but throughout ICE, to significantly ramp up the deportation of illegal immigrants. They essentially now want to deport almost every illegal from the country. Furthermore, not only that, they also want to change or close many of the loopholes that illegal immigrants have been using. For example, the lax asylum standards, whereby illegal immigrants have been learning to game the system because they're told that once you cross the border, once you jump the border, just say certain magic words like, I am a refugee, or I'm fleeing political persecution. And this triggers instant protections. They say those days will be over. We don't care what comes out of your mouth. You break the border, you're a border jumper, you're gone. We send you back. Number 2, the unaccompanied alien children, the children, those that poured into the United States under Obama. Now, under this new regime, this new immigration system, these so-called children would have to prove that they truly do not have parents. Unlike all the liars that came in before where their parents were already here or their parents were back in the home country, they just claimed they didn't have parents, that they had lost their parents in the war in Honduras or whatever, in El Salvador. They say, no, now you have to prove that you don't have a mommy and a daddy. No mama, no papa. And you have to prove that you're fleeing genuine abuse to get any kind of humanitarian protections. So basically, they want to end the flood of the unaccompanied children pouring across the border. Furthermore, they now will enshrine in law the ability of federal, state, and local authorities to detain illegal immigrants and essentially end sanctuary cities forever. Not just deport illegal immigrants, but literally now enshrine in law, you have no discretion, You can't evade ICE. You can't shield illegal immigrants. If you're a local, state, or federal official, you have to cooperate with ICE, and every illegal is treated as an illegal and cannot be given a safe haven or a sanctuary anywhere in the United States. In a nutshell, this proposal put forth by President Trump, and it seems to me it's got Stephen Miller written all over it, is exactly what this country needs to finally, thoroughly end the illegal immigration crisis. This deal would seal the border, end sanctuary cities, end the practice of hiring illegals, make it completely illegal for local mayors to thwart federal law, and prevent people from abusing our asylum or refugee system in the country, in the United States. It would effectively end illegal immigration. Now, the Democrats are already screaming, no dice, no deal. They say that they don't want to leverage immigration on behalf of the DACA recipients, that this is ultimately about the children. To which the obvious rebuttal is, it's a very simple one, how is keeping the country safe? How is keeping our streets safe? How is keeping our communities and Americans safe a form of quote-unquote leverage? If you really want to end the scourge of illegal immigration, if you want to end the gangbangers, MS-13, the drug trafficking, the human trafficking, the murder, the rapes, the rampant criminality, the stealing of the jobs of legal Americans or law-abiding citizens, the abusive practices of employers who hire illegals, here's your bill. It's right here. If you want to protect American workers, here's the bill. If you want to protect American jobs, here's the bill. If you want to protect us from the MS-13, the drug traffickers, protect our neighborhoods, our communities, our streets, here's the bill. This is it. I mean, nothing in life is a silver bullet, but this is as close as you can get to a silver bullet. And already Pelosi and Schumer are saying, no mas, no way. And so my question to you is this. Is this the deal that conservatives now have been looking for? And one more key point. I can't believe I even forgot about it. My bad, forgive me. It will essentially end or severely change the practice of chain migration. It won't ban it altogether, but it'll make it extremely difficult for the practice that has been enshrined since 1965, whereby if somebody comes into the country, they're then able to sponsor their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, their aunts, their uncles, their nephews, their nieces. In other words, they want to thoroughly reform and almost end, severely restrict chain migration. This would change our immigration system from one being based upon low-skilled labor and supposed humanitarianism to one based on merit. Bring in people with the highest skills, those that want to assimilate with good degrees or education, people that we really need in the workforce to fill real needs and real gaps and real holes. In other words, an immigration system that will put the needs of America first. 617-266-6868 is the number. Can you live with this deal in exchange for amnesty for DACA? I want to hear from you. All of your calls next. Deal or no deal? Okay, Trump now advances what he calls comprehensive immigration reform. Here is now what he's offering the Republicans and the Democrats. He will agree to amnesty for the DACA beneficiaries, in exchange for which they must agree to a wall, to essentially a fundamental reform of chain migration, to the end of sanctuary cities permanently over, and mandatory e-verify. Is this the deal that can break the deadlock? And Democrats have been calling now for comprehensive immigration reform for years. Here it is on a silver platter. If it's about the children, they'll take the deal. If it's about importing new voters, they won't take the deal. It's as clear as that. 617-266-6868. Jack on the Cape. You're up first. Go ahead, Jack.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jack.
You called it last week, Jeff, when you said that we have to hold the wall, the wall versus the DACA kids as a compromise. You called it first. If you recall, last week you said Trump, in order to agree to amnesty for the kids, is going to have the wall built. And this is brilliant, because this is going to expose the Democrats for the hypocrites and phonies that they really are, because they really don't care about the kids. They care about themselves and getting elected and getting votes. So we'll see. Why would anybody be for better immigration policy, for protecting this great country? You know, I've been on the line on this amnesty, but you know something? I come to the conclusion I can't blame a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old kid for being brought here when they were that young. I just can't blame them. So in the wake of human compassion, I say, look, give the kids the amnesty. I'm not sure what we do with the parents. As long as they're not criminals and haven't done any criminal acts, let's keep them here too. However, Trump cannot compromise on this, Jeff, on the basic thing about the wall, because he'll lose his base and he won't get reelected. And the Democrats know that, and what they're going to do is put up every single thing they can against this compromise. They're not going to accept it the way it is. And you're going to see a lot of teeth gnashing over the next few weeks concerning this, because they're phonies, they're hypocrites. The left, this is probably the most corrupt left party in the history of the American political system. The most corrupt.
Jack, thank you very much for that call. No, here is, and you're right. And look, I think this is where Trump, I've got to say, played it brilliantly, because he's even doing one better. By fundamentally reforming the chain migration, because remember now, they may have come in when they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, but most of them now are in their 20s. These DACA benefits, some in fact are in their 30s. So they're not children now, far from it. So many of them now are in their 20s and their 30s. Their parents were illegals. They brought them here illegally. So what Trump is saying is, no. The parents got to go too. No. They're illegals. They got to go. So this notion of chain migration, whereby we're going to use amnesty for the DACA beneficiaries to then make sure the parents stay. And then, of course, with chain migration, they can bring in their sisters and brothers and uncles and aunts. And before you know it, it's not 800,000. You're looking at amnesty for 4, 5, 6 million. And that, boom, flips the country blue in these key states. Trump is saying, no. The 800,000, yes, the children, fine, they get amnesty. They stay, no problem. It's about the children, right, guys? Okay. The parents, no chain migration. No. Parents got to go. All their family members, you can't bring them in now from Mexico or Honduras or whatever. So what Trump is now saying is this: we will fully secure the border. We will end sanctuary cities. We will deport all of the violent criminal illegals gone. We will impose E-Verify, which the Democrats say they support in theory. So you're not taking away jobs from Americans or lowering their wages. And we're going to end the abuse of our immigration laws completely and utterly. You want safe streets? You got it. You want safe communities? You got it. You want the drug traffickers out? You got it. You want the employers reined in? You got it. Those that overstayed their visas in this proposal would now face a misdemeanor. So, because the left keeps saying, well, but they're overstaying their visas. That's the biggest problem. It's not the actual southern border. No problem. We crack down on those that overstay their visas. So, in other words, we restore the rule of law and legal immigration to America. Guys, here it is. You say you love the children. It's time to pony up. They're already blasting the deal. And so now the question is, what are the Republicans going to do? Because the Republicans kept saying it's for the children. Okay, here it is. Trump's offering everybody. Here it is, guys. The problem is solved, and I'm giving you the children. Deal? No deal. I will bet you dollars to donuts. Ryan O'Ryan and Mitch McConnell will not take the deal. And then if I was Trump, I would hold it, honestly, I would hold a nationally televised address and say, I gave them amnesty for the DACA kids. Here's what I wanted in return, putting you first. And look what the ruling class did. They don't care about the children. They care about their donors, and they care about future voters. That's it. That's all. Anthony in Michigan. Go ahead, Anthony.
I'm actually in Massachusetts. How are you, Dr. Kuhner?
Anthony!
Pleasure.
How are you, my friend?
I am well. I can go along with this, but the Uniparty SCIU Chamber of Commerce will not go along with it. Here's what I think Trump is doing. He knows they won't give him tax reform, fixing Obamacare, or the immigration. He's throwing the long ball. He's going to go out on the Hastings on the stump and run with this on 18 for the platform for all the senatorial committee, senatorial candidates, and House candidates that are going to vote for him. And we're going to clean out that rat's nest. Now, here's another kicker. He's working on language. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Savage's Borders, Language, Culture. This is the border. Someone's working on a bill about language, and the NFL is culture. But the sanctuary cities, here's the deal. He's going to tell all the blue states that have all the sanctuary cities, you want your tax exempts or tax deductions back? Bingo. You shut them down. Art of the deal, baby.
Anthony, thank you for that call. 617-266-6868. Christine in Boston. Go ahead, Christine.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Thank you for all you do. You're in my prayers every day and
Thank
your family.
Thank you, Christine.
There's a bigger problem I don't hear anybody talk about. I had a nonprofit, an independent nonprofit helping mothers, families, and children for 13 years. And when I would help all races, colors, creeds, religions, I would always ask the Muslim women which country they would pledge allegiance to if they had to choose, and most of them always chose the country they left.
Well, that's why I think that's why, to be honest with you, I think it's time we have a loyalty test.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
I think, to be honest with you, and look, Christine, you're dead on. We need an immigration policy that stresses assimilation. And so if your loyalty is to the country that you came from, no problem. Go back. I mean, really, I'm sorry to put it crudely to you, but that's the way. America, love it or leave it. And so what I really like about this, I'm not saying it's perfect, but what I really like about this plan is that it is the first time in our lifetime that somebody is really serious about solving the illegal immigration crisis. Everybody pays lip service. This will actually, if it's not 100%, it will choke off most illegal immigration. So here it is. I mean, guys, you want it? Here it is. So what are you going to put first? Your political self-interest or the interests of your voters and the people of the United States? I mean, Trump's boxed them in on this one. 617-266-6868. Bruce, you're up next. Go ahead, Bruce.
Jeff, this doesn't solve the problem of over 1 million illegal aliens in this country. I have a plan that will cover all of them. Number one, stop all immigration immediately. Number two, all 11 million people that are in this country illegally have to go to a local post office and fill out an application for citizenship. They have to have a check for $5,000. And the $5,000 is going to be used to pay for all the extensive background checks that need to be done. If the person passes an extensive background check, they will get a blue card, Jeff. Once they get that blue card, the blue card is good for 10 years. So if you have migrant workers that want to go back and forth to Mexico, they can. With this blue card, once you are given the blue card, you have to immediately be taken off the doles. No more EBT, no more housing, no more free health care. You start paying taxes to the United States, and you keep your nose clean. The blue card entitles you to stay in the United States for 10 years with open borders, and in the 10-year period, if you keep your nose clean, you'll be eligible for a green card. If you get any arrests on your record, you're automatically deported.
Bruce, thank you for that call. Look, I disagree. I don't think we should reward anybody who came here illegally with a blue card, a green card, or any kind of card. It's time to deport them. And this plan would start deporting literally millions and millions of them. To me, we're a nation of laws, or we're not a nation of laws. And that's why it's time to end illegal immigration now. Do you support this deal? More with your calls. Let's take it to Evan Heidrich in the newsroom. 2:37 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, let me ask you this. Does a gay coffee shop owner have the right to kick pro-life Christians out of his coffee shop? Straight question, simple question. What's your answer? 617-266-6868. Because listen down to this. This story is going viral. It is everywhere. So, recently, according to the Washington Times, a gay coffee shop owner, this is in Seattle, by the name of Ben Borgman. The coffee shop is called Seattle's Bedlam Coffee, Bedlam. So there was a group of pro-life Christians who were handing out pamphlets, and this is very important, not in the coffee shop, literally on the streets, in the neighborhoods around the coffee shop, where they basically talked about abortion, what's wrong with abortion, the nature of sin, etc., but it focused primarily on abortion. They decided to take a break. They went into Bedlam's Coffee, ordered multiple coffees, and I guess they had the pamphlets on them in their purse or backpack or whatever. One of the baristas spotted the pamphlets, realized, these are the ones going around handing out pamphlets in our neighborhood. She ran upstairs. She told the owner, Ben Borgman, hey, those are the pro-lifers down there handing out the pamphlets. When he found out, he was enraged. He went down and he confronted the Christians. They weren't bothering anybody. They were just drinking their coffee, taking a break, minding their own business. Listen now to the exchange between the gay coffee shop owner and the Christians in his coffee shop. Roll it, Brittany.
Okay. You have to leave.
So are you denying us service?
I am, yeah.
So why aren't we allowed to stay? Because
this is offensive to me. I own the place.
I
have a right to be offended.
Yeah.
So I have a right to say.
Did anyone
Right.
buy anything in the store?
I didn't.
No.
I don't know.
So
Where did this come from? That came from outside the store.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's a lot of us in the city. I didn't need anything in your store.
so something you found on public property.
I saw
Yeah, you
it.
That-
just said. You
that
just
we-
admitted
right,
that-
so-
Shut up. You just admitted to it
Yeah.
being you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
shut up.
what about it
So
offends
shut
you?
up.
Okay.
There's nothing else you can say.
So-
This is you.
so we're not welcome here?
I do not want these
You-
people in this place.
So you're not willing
This
to
is
tolerate our presence?
Extremely offensive. Can you
Right.
tolerate my presence?
We are.
Right. We're actually in your
Really?
coffee shop.
Really? I don't have to tolerate this.
Well, that's true. I mean, you
Then
don't.
leave, all of you. Tell all your friends don't come here.
Now, it gets even much more graphic after this. I don't want to discuss it. It's a family show. Basically, in a nutshell, he said, would you like it if I brought my boyfriend and we committed certain sexual acts in front of you? Would you like that? And then he talked about one of the girls, one of the female Christians says, Jesus can save you or something like that. and he refers to Jesus as hot, and then talked about how, anyway, you get the, him and Jesus having a sexual relationship. He'd like that. So, not only was he grossly offensive, not only was he incredibly vulgar and obscene, he was actually blasphemous. But let that go. Okay? Let that go. Here is the point. Were they proselytizing in his coffee shop? Niet. Were they handing out pamphlets in his coffee shop? Niet. What were they doing? They were literally drinking coffee. Now, let me be very candid with you like I'm in the confessional. You see, unlike the Moonbats and the liberals, I am philosophically consistent because I'm a man of principle. On most issues, I'm very libertarian. I am a constitutionalist. I truly believe this is a gay coffee shop's, his establishment. It's his establishment. He has the right to refuse service. For whatever reason, if he wants to kick you out of his shop, for whatever reason, he was pointing to the pamphlet. In fact, the barista gave him one. That's why he kept flashing. I find this offensive. I find this offensive. So, look, it's his business. He has the right to refuse service because I believe in property rights. I believe in his right as an owner to say who he wants and who he doesn't want as a customer. I do. However, I'm sorry. But now I want to know, is the ACLU going to sue him? And now I want to know if his business is going to be fined and if his business is going to be closed down. Because now this is what I'm advocating for. Because what's sauce for the goose is now sauce for the gander. So, to the LGBTQ community, to all of you intolerant moonbat liberals, I'm sorry, but now you asked for this. You asked for it, and now you're going to get it. Because when it came to the Christian bakery owners out in the Pacific Northwest, who, by the way, never mistreated their customers, never yelled obscenities and profanities at them. In fact, they were incredibly respectful. They even pointed to the bakery down the street that said, no, listen, look, we don't do cakes for same-sex weddings because it violates our religious beliefs and our conscience rights. We're very sorry. But that store, phenomenal cakes, believe me, they're just as good as ours. They didn't even say that they would refuse service to gays or lesbians. Even then, they'll say, we're happy to bake you a cake. We don't want to participate in a wedding or marriage because according to us, as devout Christians, we believe marriage is a sacrament between a man and a woman. So you're asking us to engage in something that our religion not just tells us is wrong, is that it violates a sacramental belief. So it's fundamental to our religious faith. The left not only said you have to bake the cake under public accommodation of the Civil Rights Act, okay? But they fined them. They ended up closing their business down. They financially ruined them. And they still want them to go to jail for violating the fundamental civil liberties of that lesbian couple that eventually, by the way, got a wedding cake and had a wedding. But let that go. Well, hold on now. If you're going to ruin the business of a Christian bakery, if you're going to ruin the business of a Christian photographer in New Mexico who didn't want to photograph a same-sex wedding, you're going to fine them, you're going to charge them, you're going to ruin them completely, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Well, I'm sorry, where's the ACLU? I want this guy in jail. I want this guy, just like what you tried to do now to the Christian baker and the Christian photographer. Now I'm turning it right around on you by your logic. I want several $100,000 fine. I want this business to be completely closed down. And I want him to be pressed up now on hate crime charges, as you've done against the Christian photographer and the Christian bakery owners. Guys, your rules, not mine. I was going to play freedom. I was going to say you respect everybody's right to disagree. You didn't. So now you want to coerce people against their will to serve anybody, no matter what. Guys, you asked for it. So if I'm these Christian activists, these pro-life Christians, here's what I would do. Right now, organize a boycott of this coffee shop owner, and then sue him in particular, sue him for everything that he's worth, and shut his business down. And maybe, just maybe, the intolerant left, the liberal fascists, those in the LGBTQ community in particular, are going to wake up to the fact that freedom is a two-way street, that tolerance has to be a two-way street. Now you know what it's like to be on the other side. Now you know what it's like to do something that violates your core beliefs. So, if he's got the right to kick these people out of his establishment and not serve them, then tell me, how come Melissa's Bakery isn't allowed to be open? How come you shut Melissa's Bakery down? I'll tell you why. Because according to the liberal regime, the LGBTQ community are a, quote, protected class. Christians are not. That is discrimination, my friends. That's turning Christians into second-class citizens. It is now time for Christians to say enough is enough. We're not going to sit at the back of the bus. We're not going to be put at separate lunch counters. When we come into your establishment, you have no right to kick us out. And if we want to have coffee, damn it, you better serve us coffee. And if you don't like it, too bad. Your rules, your ideas, you started this first. 617-266-6868 is the number. Let me ask you this. Was the coffee shop owner wrong to kick those Christian customers out of his business? And should he now be sued? Should he be fined? And should he be bankrupted? 617-266-6868. Carol, you're up first. Go ahead, Carol.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
I agree with you immensely that the ACLU should be brought to attention this and that they should sue. I think they should sue. I think they should do all the social media, unite, protest. I feel as if here, like, it's time that people fight on the same battleground as these liberals. They did have the right to, say they didn't want them. I agree with the patronage of business, but due to the case presidents of the bakers, I'd sue the hell out of them.
Amen, Carol. I boycott them and sue them. Now, look, I want to be very clear with you. In principle, I'm the exact opposite. To me, if you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew, whatever. Look, I said this example before. If I'm a Jewish bakery owner, somebody comes in and wants me to bake a Nazi cake or a cake memorizing Hitler, I have the right to say no. No. I lost family members in the Holocaust. I'm not baking you that cake. Get lost. You know what? Go to another bakery shop, but not on mine. He's got the right to refuse service. Now, if you're going to start compelling and coercing people against their will, and then charging them, and then suing them, and then literally financially destroying them, as you've been doing now to Christians in business after business, well, guys, that's why this story is so hot. That's why this story is everywhere. Because he kicked them out. He denied them service. It's pure liberal hypocrisy. That's what you're seeing on display. And so my question to you is simple. Should Ben Borgman be sued? Should his business be essentially bankrupted? Should it be closed down? If you're a liberal, the answer must be yes. Or are you going to come up with a new excuse? 617-266-6868 is the number. Your calls next. 2:55 here on the great WRKO. Okay, a gay coffee shop owner, in fact, Ben Borgman is his name, Seattle's Bedlam Coffee, kicked out pro-life Christians because he found their message and them offensive. They were refused service. My question to you is, the left has bankrupted businesses, Christian bakeries, Christian photographers, for denying service to same-sex weddings. Now, is it time to turn the tables on the left? Is it time to sue this man, sue his business, and essentially bankrupt him the way the LGBTQ community has done to bakeries in the Pacific Northwest and to photographers in New Mexico? Chris in Somerville. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Jeff, I called the Bedlam Coffee Shop up there in Seattle, Washington, and when I got the voicemail of Wendy Gage, and this is exactly what I said. I said, I'm a veteran. I support your right to serve whoever you want, not to serve who you don't want. I says, but just like the Christian couple that got sued by the two lesbians and were driven out of business, and then then the LBG community refused to leave them alone and charge them with hate crimes, I think the same damn thing should happen to you. I want to wish you good luck, because you're damn sure going to need it. That's what I said.
Chris, God bless you, buddy, and thank you for your service. Well, I got to tell you, trust me on this. This story is going to get really big. Because the liberals can't defend this one. And now they're seeing the consequences of their own intolerance, but now it's blowing up right in their face. Diane in Lynn. Go ahead, Diane.
Hi, what I was going to say is, since when do the liberals have to suffer any consequences for things they do? But you know what it is? I think the conservatives who can fight this thing won't go the distance. They just won't. You know what I think? I think it's possible that halfway through their objection to all this nonsense, they're going to feel sorry for them, and they're going to let them stay in business, and it's going to blow over. Do you think that's going to happen?
You know, Diane, thank you for that call. Look, I think Fox is going to pick it up. I guarantee it. I think a lot of conservative media outlets are going to pick it up. It's going to be a big story. But I know how Christians are because, frankly, I'm one of them. They're going to forgive him. They don't want to burn the guy down. They don't want to bankrupt him. Turn the other cheek. Let it go. So they're probably not going to sue. But honestly, if I were them, I'd say you give the ACLU a call and say, hey, guys, let's get ready for that press conference. I'm ready to sue. And believe it or not, they should do it on behalf of freedom, liberty, genuine tolerance, and even, frankly, defense of Christian rights, religious liberty. And by doing this, they're going to set an example and expose the liberals for the hypocrites that they are. By the way, there may be no bigger hypocrite on the planet than those in the Hollywood left. Because it has now come out that the big Hollywood mogul himself, Harvey Weinstein, big donor to Hillary Clinton, big donor to every anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, anti-Trump cause. Guess what? He has been sexually assaulting women for over 30 years. In fact, he paid at least 8 settlements, and it looks there are like many more. So the very same people that were blasting Trump for that Billy Bush, that locker room talk tape, the Access Hollywood tape, for groping women, forget talking about it. He actually did it. He actually grabbed them by the you-know-what. And he did it again and again and again. And everybody in Hollywood knew it, and they turned a blind eye. So my question is this. Are the feminists now going to start wearing their pea hats? And are they going to march on Hollywood? Is Meryl Streep, who called him God, is she going to talk about a whiff of fascism in the air?
So I just want to thank my agent, Kevin Uvain, and God, Harvey Weinstein.
Their silence says everything you need to know. You phonies, you fraud, you. Gotta go. Bye-bye.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 3 o'clock.